Japan is made up of a string of islands. It has everything from the subarctic to the subtropical, offering wildly diverse landscapes. And its local cultures are a reflection of the ways in which people have adapted to their particular environment. Japan's national parks are where the harmony between people and nature can be experienced. From Hokkaido in the north to Okinawa in the south, there are 34 national parks. In this episode, we'll introduce one of these national parks, meet the people that live and work there, enjoy the seasonal views that have been preserved through their efforts, and discover the wonders of Japan's national parks.
Have you guys seen all this snow?
Akan-Mashu National Park is located in eastern Hokkaido. The highlights of this national park are its three caldera lakes, formed by repeated volcanic activity: Lake Akan, Lake Crushado, and Lake Mashu. When winter arrives in full force, the lakes freeze over and are covered by a blanket of snow, creating sights that can only be enjoyed in the heart of winter.
Look at all this snow! Oh my god!
Here to experience winter in Akan-Mashu National Park is Janni Olsson from Sweden. Her first stop is at Lake Mashu on the eastern side of the national park.
Okay, so just over here we have Lake Mashu. Ooh, すごい! This is absolutely beautiful.
Lake Mashu was formed approximately 7,000 years ago when extensive volcanic activity caused a mountain to collapse. Here to show Janni around Lake Mashu is Kohei Sasabuchi, a park ranger in charge of Akan-Mashu National Park.
どうですか、冬のマシューコは。
いやー、もうマッシュですね。なんか雪の国みたいね。
そうですね。
On clear days, the entire lake can take on a deep blue shade called Mashu Blue, giving it a mystical appearance.
青色の秘密はですね、このマシューコの水が非常に透明度が高いというのがあります。日本で一番透明度が高い湖で、25メーターぐらいのその透明度があるというふうに言われています。
So, what makes Lake Mashu so transparent? First, the lake has no inlets and very few nutrients. Second, with a depth of over 200 meters, the water absorbs non-blue light, making the surface appear a rich blue.
あのちっちゃい島は何ですか？
そこはマシューコの底から火山の隆起でできた島で、
はい、
カムイシュ島というふうに呼ばれています。カムイシュ島というのは神の島っていうことで、アイヌ語の語源で、アイヌの方も非常に神秘的な場所として大事にしてきた場所です。このアカンマシュ国立公園全体がそういったアイヌのその文化が感じられる場所がありまして、阿寒湖でですね、そういったアイヌの文化が非常によく見られる場所があるので、ぜひ行ってみてください。
The temperature is minus 15 degrees Celsius, yet it's not too cold for some.
He is not afraid at all. Oh, it's a cub. Not every day you get to see a fox on the road. Oh my god. This is Hokkaido for you.
Janni's next destination is the Lake Arkhan Area, which is approximately 60 kilometers west of Lake Mashu.
This is one of the few places in Japan where you can experience Ainu culture. So let's go. Come on.
This is Laikakan Ainu Kotan, the largest settlement of Hokkaido's indigenous people, the Ainu. Kotan is the Ainu word for settlement. Folk craft shops and restaurants line the road, providing a valuable glimpse into the culture and daily life of the Ainu people. Owl monuments can be found throughout the settlement. Called Kotan Koroi Kamui in the Ainu language, owls are worshipped as guardian spirits of the village. The Ainu believe that everything in nature, the plants, animals, and elements, has a soul and must be revered.
こんにちは。
はい、こんにちは。
はじめまして、ヤニです。
はい、西田と申します。いらっしゃい。
Here to show Yani around is Masao Nishida. He's been actively promoting the Ainu culture for over 40 years.
この建物すごいですね。もう本当にもう歴史家のような。
アイヌ民族の伝統的な建物なんですけども、チセって言うんです。
チセ。
家のことをチセって言うんですね。ヨシを束ねて作ってあります。
The house is made with all natural materials. Inside, over 40 household items and pieces of clothing from the 19th century are on display.
What
これはですね、アイヌの着物で、アットシって言いますね。これ一着作るのにもう何ヶ月もかかります。で、これ普段は着ませんけども、神様にお祈りする時とか、そういう大事な儀式の時に着るものなんですね。
The attushi is made from tree bark fibers, and the embroidered patterns bear a symbolic meaning.
これはね、トゲを表してるんですよ。刺さると痛いでしょ。
はいはい、痛いです。
だから悪いものが近づかないという意味があって、魔除けの意味があるんですね。
Nishida recommends attending an embroidery workshop nearby.
あ、こんにちは。お邪魔してもいいですか？
The teacher here is Masao Nishida's wife, Kayoko. She's an authority on Ainu embroidery. Yani will try her hand at embroidering a coaster.
OK です。いいよ。初めてにしては上手よ。
本当ですか？So it's actually really difficult, but it's really calming as well. You really need to focus, so it's the perfect way to relax.
Like other indigenous people, the Ainu are searching for ways to ensure that their traditional arts aren't forgotten. To bring in younger audiences, they've begun staging a production that merges traditional arts with digital imagery. The piece illustrates the deep connection that once existed between the now extinct Ezo wolf and the Ainu people. It prays for the wolf's resurrection and, in essence, the prosperity of the Ainu culture. This is the sword dance, a ceremonial dance performed to drive away evil spirits. Through this production, the Ainu hope to share their culture of respecting and living in harmony with nature with as many people as possible. The Akan area is a patchwork of forests and lakes. And it's where Yani goes for a walk the very next day. Her guide is Miyu Suenaga, a park ranger in charge of the Akan area.
ここの森はああいう風に折れた木をそのまま残していたり、なるべく自然に近い状態で残しています。
Pristine old-growth forests left largely to nature's care are found in this area. They're the habitat of many wild animals only found in Hokkaido, including the Ezo deer and Ezo squirrel. Yani is told that there's a story behind this preservation effort.
実はここの森、国有地ではなくて民有地なんです。
あ、民有地なんですか？
はい。
This area, while part of the national park, is managed by a certain foundation. And that is the Maeda Ippoen Foundation. The Maeda family moved to Hokkaido from the mainland over a century ago and owns the vast forests in the Akan area. For over 50 years, it has planted new trees and undertaken conservation efforts to keep the forest healthy and preserve the area's abundant nature. Thanks to the Maeda family's tireless efforts, the forests of Akan continue to thrive, enabling visitors to enjoy the majestic landscape. Japan's national parks all have visitor centers where visitors can get information on the park's characteristics, attractions, and wildlife. The one in the Akan area has a 3D model of the entire park and exhibits featuring rare plants that can only be found in the Akan area.
Marimo. Oh my god. Moss balls? I've actually never seen anything like that. I think
the marimo in Laikakan are large, beautifully formed spheres. Large marimo like these only exist in Laikakan and have been designated a special natural monument. Yani visits Yoichi Oyama, a researcher who's been studying Laikakan's marimo.
これがだいたい10センチぐらいのマリモの乾燥標本です。
はい。触っていいんですか？
はい、手に取ってください。
軽い。
実はマリモっていうのは丸い生き物ではなくて、こういう一本一本の細かい糸状のものがマリモの本体。
So how do the marimo in Lake Akan form into such large moss balls?
マリモは植物の仲間なので、光合成をして光を栄養にして生きているんですけども、波の力で回転することで丸く大きく成長するっていうことが分かっています。コロコロコロコロ転がるのではなくて、同じ場所でこう回転、その場にとどまっているためには波の力だけでなくて、水の深さですとか固定のですね地形だとか、そういったものがですねすごく重要で、そういった条件がですねいくつも揃っているのが阿寒湖なんですね。
Lake Akan, the home of the marimo, is a caldera lake surrounded by active volcanoes that were themselves formed by volcanic activity. To the west of the lake is Mount Meakan. Me means female. On the opposite side stands Mount Oakan. O means male. The temperature is minus 15 degrees Celsius. Accompanying Yani on an early morning tour of Lake Akan is Gaku Yasui, who's been a guide for over 20 years.
ね、これ何ですか？
これね、日本では御神渡りって言うんですけど、
Ice pressure ridges known as omiwatari are created by cracks in the ice. When higher temperatures cause the ice to expand, the cracked edges are pushed up, forming these jagged ridges.
これすごいなんだろうと思ってなんか
阿寒湖もねもう20年ぐらいいるんですけど、こんなに長い海渡りは初めて。
And that's not the only piece of art created by Laikakan in winter. These are frozen bubbles. This phenomenon occurs when gas bubbles from the lake floor are trapped under ice and freeze over.
不思議。
あとそこの氷の上にあるのがフロストフラワーって呼んでるんですけど。
フロストフラワーですね。
Frost flowers are water vapor crystals deposited on ice. It's a phenomenon that can only be seen in extremely cold environments.
なんでここでガイドさんやろうと思ったんですか？
森もあるし、あと火山もあるし、して湖、こう全部織りなす景色がすごい綺麗なのと、いろんな特徴があるので住んでて楽しいですし、そういう楽しさを伝えたいなっていうことからですね。
It's almost like you're visiting a arts museum or something. You can see the, the frost flowers and the ice here behind us. So come here, you won't forget it.
There's a spot here that reminds visitors that this place is a volcanic zone.
Oh my God, look at this. It's like mud or something. Boiling mud. I wonder if it's like a hot spring or something. これ何ですか？
これは、
はい
泥火山と言いまして、アイヌ語ではボッケ、煮え立つの意味です。火山活動の、一種なんですけれども、表面に泥が乗ってて、地下から高温の100度近く熱せられたガスと、泥が一緒に上がってきて、ポコッと、見えているというものです。ここよりももっと火山活動を間近で体感できる場所があるので、この後行ってみませんか？
見たい見たい見たい。
はい。
The spot is about an hour's drive northeast from Akan and is found in a hot spring town.
Look at all this snow! Oh my God! There's smoke over there as well. こんにちは。ヤンニです。
中島康夫と申します。
Yasuo Nakajima is from the Tourism Association. He introduces visitors to the nature and history of the area.
伊予山っていう山なんですけど、508メーターの山なんですけど、上の方が全然もう見えないですよね。
下の方が結構煙出てるんですけど、何ですか？
よくお気づきになりましたね。これ実は火山なんです。地下からこう水蒸気が上がってきてるんですけども、もしよかったら近くまで行ってみませんか？
お願いします。いいですか？
一緒に行ってみましょう。
本当ですか？
ちょっと足元気をつけていただいて。
In winter, the weather changes erratically. The snow continues to fall even as they make their way to the foot of the mountain. Mount Iyosan's sulfur prevents plants and trees from growing on its surface. In Ainu, the mountain is referred to as Atosa Nupuri, or Naked Mountain.
すごい煙出てますね。
はい。ここはもうこの辺りで一番の噴気口ですね。
もう黄色。
末期。
わあ。
Mount Iyosan has more than 1,500 fumaroles like this. The bright yellow color is from the sulfur crystals. From the late 1800s, Mount Iyosan was mined for sulfur, which was valued for its use in making gunpowder and matches.
最初は馬を使って人が掘った硫黄を運んでいたんですよ。硫黄の採掘事業も変遷があってですね、高速の輸送に変わっていくんです。
でも馬はもう使わないで、
馬は使わなくて、もっとスピードをアップ。
もっとスピードアップ。
はい。それがよくわかる場所がこの近くにあるんです。
本当ですか？
はい。
The spot is a 5-minute walk away from Mount Iosan. They switch to snowshoes to make their way through the deep snow.
Okay, so it's really like walking inside a tunnel. Like it's like the tree and the snow is becoming a tunnel. It's so beautiful.
And the path continues.
ここは北海道で2番目の鉄道が敷設された場所なんです。
鉄道あったんですか？
そうなんです。硫黄山を通って
はい。
鉄道が敷かれていた。
ああ、本当にここですか？
その道がこの場所なんです。
At the end of the 19th century, over 25,000 tons of sulfur were transported by the railway every year, boosting the development of Hokkaido.
ここ硫黄山では硫黄の採掘が長い間続けられてきて、当時働いていた人たち、あるいはそれを運んでいた馬、こういったものがですね、川湯温泉でその疲れを癒していた。
辛い仕事した後に温泉とかそこでね、体癒して。はい。
Kawayu Onsen is located at the foot of Mount Iosan. It once served the sulfur miners and remains one of Hokkaido's famous hot spring towns.
This is so good. After a day out in the snow, this is the way to go.
Kawayu Onsen thrived alongside the sulfur industry. But when the mines closed, people began leaving. For a time, the town saw an increase in tourists, but eventually went into decline. Since Kawayu Onsen is part of the national park, efforts are being made by locals and the Ministry of the Environment to revitalize the hot spring town. And this is the future that Nakajima envisions for Kawayu Onsen. It's a hot spring town surrounded by forests that takes full advantage of its location in a national park.
静かさを価値に転換しようというような発想で廃屋になってしまったホテルの解体、あるいはその後をですね、緑に整備をして、民間でも活用していこう。
森に囲まれた温泉は一番仲癒されますよね。
ああ、そうですね。ありがとうございます。
Yanni has one more stop to make.
Ah, swans! Oh my God, there are a lot of swans over there.
Her last destination is the lake that makes up the big three along with Lake Mashu and Laikakan. And that is Lake Crushado, Japan's largest caldera lake. It's famous for being a wintering spot for the whooper swan. Geothermal heat keeps the water near the banks from freezing over, providing the swans with a spot to rest their wings.
Oh my God, they're so cute. Oh! It's not every day you get like 50 swans in one photo.
At Lake Crushado and Lake Mashu, visitors are occasionally treated to the stunning sight of a sea of clouds. The clouds that blanket the lakes are formed over the ocean and carried here by south winds, where they're trapped by the wall of mountains. After enjoying the spectacular view, Yanni heads to the visitor center at Kawayu Onsen. Kohei Sasabuchi has a place he'd like to show her.
去年、オープンした、ビジターセンターの中にあるカフェです、観光客の方にここで自然の景色を見ながらゆっくり時間を過ごしてお茶を飲んでいただいたりとか、あとは地元の人もここをよく利用して、で地元の方と、観光客の方がここで交流していただけるようなスペースになってます。
いやー素敵。こういうなんかもう観光客だけじゃなくて本当に地元の人と一緒になんかコーヒー飲んだり喋ったりするのが、なんかなかなかなくて素敵ですね。
Right outside the cafe is a kind of forest that can only be seen in volcanic zones. This is an Ezo spruce. While the volcanic ash soil is acidic, the Ezo spruce is a hardy tree that can grow in poor soil conditions. The saplings that were planted here have developed into a beautiful forest. Nature guide Ami Katase explains the forest's characteristics.
この辺りは、この赤い松の森を除いては結構、切り開かれてしまった森も多かったりするんですよね。200年間、できてからずっと守られてきた森になっているので、その中でずっと赤い松たちが純林として生き残っているっていう、またちょっと特別な場所になってますね。
These. Okay, so the entire forest here is lit up by ice sculptures with candles in them.
Locals have illuminated the area around the Eco Museum Center with candles to showcase the beauty of the national park at night.
OK です。OK。お、さすが。光だ。来ました。
In another spot, some locals were gathered around a campfire.
うわー、すごい気持ちよさそうだね。アイテムでもいいんですか？いいんですか？もうちょっと。すぐ食べたいんですよね。食べたい。でもすごい綺麗に。本当ですか？
They're pairing roasted marshmallows with locally grown strawberries.
中がなんか全部柔らかいです。ふわふわとろとろ。美味しい。私今の子供ですね。私です。すごい。This has been such a magical journey. Even for someone like me who comes from a country with a lot of snow, there has been so much to do and so much to see. And especially one thing stood out to me. The close connection between nature and culture in this area is absolutely wonderful. There's so much we can learn from the Ainu people, so I wish that more people come here and learn from them and see this amazing nature around here.
There are currently 34 national parks in Japan. They're unique not just in their landscapes, but in their display of harmony between people and nature. What's more, Japan's 4 distinct seasons add their own touches and colors. Dramatic landscapes and the soul of Japanese culture can be found here, making it well worth a visit. Why not come and be at one with nature?